It's the Sunday Morning Breakfast Show with Dan Shaw.
Just one touch.
It's Neo and Sexy Love here on Manchester Radio Online. Well and truly into the afternoon now, 25 to 1 live here in Manchester. How are you doing, folks? Thank you so much for checking me out this afternoon. I'm Dan Shaw, and we do have a phone call. It should be Desire Mcneish on line 3.
Hello, Dan. How you doing? It's always a pleasure, man.
It's great talking to you once again. I've missed you.
Oh, I've missed you too, man.
Oh, really? There's a lot of love in this studio today, I tell you that for nothing.
How's the weather up in Manchester today?
Oh, the weather, you know what, it's quite bright actually. It's not too warm, but, you know, at least it's sunny.
All right. It's actually quite like that down here. So we're sharing the same weather, probably sharing the same problems with this gun and knife crime issue.
Probably, and that's the main reason why you're on today, to be honest, because you have a lot of knowledge, you've done a lot of research, and you are doing a lot of work to combat this. Tell us a bit about it. I've looked into it, I've read some information about the People Against Gun and Knife Crime group. Yeah. Tell us a bit more about that.
All right, at the moment we're forming an organisation and we're trying to get in as many important, influential people as we can to support this organisation. So far we've got kind of, we're being championed by the Prince of Syria, who is also like one of UNICEF's ambassadors.
Right.
And he's really on our side. He's given us the opportunity and saying basically if we move forward in a constructive way, he'll put it in front of Prince Charles and other, big MPs and politicians in order to make this an official body which is going to help the young generation as well as parents who are suffering because they are frightened of their own children being in gangs and guns and all that kind of stuff and not knowing how to approach their children through even fear of their own child. Absolutely,
it's a big issue, isn't it? So we're trying to get the attention of the people with the power in order to do something about this and make this official. Okay, so why originally did you decide yourself to get involved with this? Obviously, gun and knife crime is a big issue. It needs to be sorted. It needs to be dealt with. Why did you think, personally, I have to do something about this?
All right, I grew up in South London, and I'm not sure if you know, but South London was affected by lots of gun and knife crime, lots of different gangs, and it starts off from when you're at school, you join a certain kind of gang, and then it evolves after you leave school into, robberies and, mugging, stabbing, shooting, drug deals, the whole work. Yeah. And I was sadly, when I was younger, caught up in all of that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And, through many experiences and losing a few people to either jail or the cemetery.
Right.
It made me realise to myself, that there's much more to life, than this so-called ghetto vision. So, with all the things that happened to me, it made me realise that as a mature man now, with kids myself, I want to try and tackle this problem, because it really affects all of us.
Of course, yes. And you're more likely to get hurt yourself if you're within this gang culture. Because I was looking at some statistics before. The stats suggest that there's a very, very good chance of you getting hurt by a knife, being stabbed, if you carry one yourself.
That's very true.
It's just about educating the people, really. So, where can we get information about your group?
Yeah, at the moment, the only official place you can get it is on Facebook. So you need to type in People Against Gun and Knife Crime, and the group will appear. Please just join. And on there so far, we're giving them like an open platform for people to talk about things that they've been through. Like, for instance, just the other day, a gentleman wrote about him being stabbed after coming out of a nightclub. Like two guys, and how he still has panic attacks now. But he says, to deal with it all, he's actually forgiven these people for what they did, that they was young and, and obviously he's still alive, but, he's suffering now. He really is suffering, panic attacks and so forth. He's still taking Valium, to calm him down.
Yes.
It's really bad.
It's a long-term effect on his life. Rather than tackling the individuals, it's a lot deeper, the issue, and things have to be done, that we have to get to the grassroots of the problem, as opposed to just the individuals that have actually caused the damage.
Yes. I mean, all right, we look at the social, makeup of our country. I mean, we've got people up in, like, north of England with not much opportunities for work, so you've got a lot of people who do go into the army. And then when they come back from the army, whether wounded or whether, just served and come back home, they're not given, a good treatment when they come back to this country. A lot of actual, ex-veterans are homeless.
Yes.
Homeless,
I know, it's awful, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
when we talk about the issues of the young generation, personally, I look at it as a situation where young kids are not given opportunities. I remember when I was younger, we still had recreation centres where we could gather in safety, play games, play sports, have fun, They've taken all of those things away, which is another reason why kids are on the street and will make their own.
Absolutely. But is it the kids' fault or is it the parents' fault?
For the issue as far as community centres and stuff are concerned, I would blame the government for taking away funding for things that is necessary.
Yes.
Yeah? Then I'd move on from, like community centres, and I would go then to the parents. Parents need counselling, and they need to know that there's some form of support system there to help them if they even suspect their kid is going down the wrong path.
Yes.
I remember when I was younger, they had this kind of scheme where they would send you away for like 6 weeks to bushy or different like holiday camps where they would teach you, different crafts and skills, but as well as like you'd go abseiling, you'd do things you'd never do in your own area.
That's right. And of course that's very popular in America with Camp America. That happens in America.
Yes, it does. You see, so why don't we have those things in this country? And if also as well I look at it, like when you are caught up in this gang culture thing, it is very hard to break away from. Because even myself, when I was caught up in the gang situation, from the moment they got an inkling that I didn't want to be in their gang anymore, everything changed.
Yeah, well, your safety's under jeopardy then.
I'm telling you, yeah? So if it even comes to it, the government, some organisation, hopefully like our own, should be able to give the kid an opportunity to relocate, even if it's only for a few months, but to get them out of the situation.
Yes.
They can reevaluate things, maybe pursue a career in I don't know, the fire brigade or building, or learn a craft, or do something away
Learn skills, yes.
Thank you, away from their little comfort gang zone. Get them away, get them out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes the parents are not to blame because the kids just get sucked into this culture and the parents can't do anything about it, and they need to be educated on how to best deal with that sort of situation. But sometimes it's completely and utterly the parents' fault because they're not bothered about the kids in the slightest. They just let them run wild, and I think they need to be included into the community as well. So educational authorities need to give them the support as well to get their lives back on track, and so they can be a role model to their kids.
Yes, I totally agree. That's the reason why in People Against Gun and Knife Crime we are going for a 3-tier attack. We're aiming for the younger generation, we're aiming for the 16 to 21, and then we're aiming for the parents. We need to get the parents to come and be involved in what's happening in their children's lives.
Definitely.
We've got parents who are drug addicts and so forth. They need counselling. They need support themselves. Some parents, because of their upbringing, they don't know how to show this one important word, compassion, to their own children.
How are we going to build on this? How are we going to really show the people of the UK that we do care and we are going to do something about it?
Well, I've noticed that people seem to follow behind celebrities and follow behind, big important people. So, all right, we've got the Prince of Syria on board, but he's probably not a big name in this country, but in his country he is. We need more people like Rio Ferdinand, like Liam Gallagher, Take That, like any superstar to jump on board and be champion this organisation. We need, I do know as well Rio Ferdinand is doing a lot to try and see help, in these kind of situations.
Yes, he is, yes.
And I take my hat off to him. People like Lennox Lewis is also doing a good job as well.
Absolutely.
Colleges and things. I think those are great. We need to, all come together with these kind of celebrities, champion these things, start putting on events, start raising money so that we've got some cash to be able to help in the directions I said. Start opening back up the community centres, I've even noticed as well that there are kids out there that are not academic.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know what I mean? And because of that, they feel like they're put in a little tight box. and that is when they do get, you know, sucked into the gang.
I agree. I mean, the academic lifestyle is not for everybody. And what about those people that aren't quite as academic? It doesn't mean that their lives can't be as successful. It means that they're probably skilled in different areas. So they need to be taught and educated about the things that they are good at and the way they can pursue things in their lives.
And I mean, you know, that's why I work alongside an organisation like Boxing Evolution,
Yeah.
which gives kids from even a young age the opportunity to get in the ring and take out their aggression and anger. And also, it's very respectful boxing. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Once the person's down, you don't hit them, and you know, you learn how to control yourself. And this is, you know, I'm champion behind Boxing Evolution all the way.
Right.
And it's an organisation which also gives kids an alternative. You know, there are so many different jobs out there where, you know, academic skills is not as important.
Definitely, of course, yeah. Well, Desire, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you about this particularly cautious issue. Keep in contact about the work that you do and how that progresses, and anything that we can do in order to help would be a pleasure.
Dan Shaw on Manchester Radio Online.